Jesus is talking to those who have come now. They found him, and they keep on saying, can you give us more bread? Can you give us more bread? Can you give us more stuff? People who are following you on Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or whatever other thing that I don't even know about anymore because I'm too old to know is happening. But you know what's funny? You look at Jesus, and you look at how he was so influential. 3 years. You understand this? 3 years. 900 and something, 1,000 days or so of public ministry. That's it. And he managed to influence the whole world for millennia afterwards. He wasn't a flash in the pan, although he was literally walking the earth for 1,000 or so days. In terms of his public ministry, obviously he lived for a lot longer than that. He started his ministry around 30 years old. But that's amazing that he could do that. And you know what he did? How he did it? He didn't worry about being popular. You look at Jesus in John chapter 6. Now we have the various stories throughout the Gospels of the feeding of the 5,000. And John goes into a little bit more of a subtlety of the spiritual condition of those who are looking for the food. And maybe you've heard this before, but I think it bears repeating. And I'll just sort of race through the story if you don't mind. So Jesus feeds 5,000 people who are coming to listen to him. And it's way more than 5,000 because it was just the men who were counted among the 5,000. It was their wives and their children as well. So we're talking way more than 5,000 people. And they have this meager offering, this insufficient offering of fish and loaves that barely could feed one person, let alone thousands more. And of course, Jesus does the miraculous, and he multiplies the fish and the bread so that everyone has their fill. And in fact, there's stuff left over at the end of the whole thing. Now, what's interesting is when you read this story and you see this miracle, and everyone kind of knows this miracle has happened, is that Jesus attracts quite a following. The following who are there, who are the thousands who are there, are following him. And doubtless, that story circulates pretty quick. And thousands more probably start to surge towards Jesus and want to follow him as well. And they begin to look for him, and he goes to various places and all this, and then they finally catch up to him. And then if you read the whole of John chapter 6, I highly recommend you read the whole of John chapter 6, because what you'll see is this somewhat frustrating dialogue where Jesus is talking to those who have come now. They found him, and they keep on saying, can you give us more bread? Can you give us more bread? Can you give us more stuff? He basically says to them, and he doesn't say it in a condemning way. Read it now. When you go back and read John chapter 6, and I would urge you to do so, read it now with the lens of this, that Jesus has given them something. He's proclaimed that he will meet your physical needs. But he's here to meet your spiritual needs even more, and that's the important thing. And you see the dialogue back and forth, and what ends up happening is that the people are actually trying to rationalize Jesus into doing more parlor tricks for them. Give us more stuff. They say, Moses, he gave us manna in the wilderness. Don't you want to be like Moses? Aren't you a good prophet? Aren't you sent from God? You should give us more bread, more stuff. We want to eat. They're trying to actually out-scripture Jesus, which is hilarious. And he keeps telling them, don't you get it? The people who ate the manna are dead. I'm giving you bread that will give you life. And they don't want it. They don't want it. They want stuff. And you know what happens? He does not compromise his message. He does not give them what they want. He tells them what they need, and they leave him because of it. He loses his followers. Put in common parlance, he said something that got him canceled. And he looks to his disciples and he says, are you also going to walk away? And Peter gets the message. He got it. He heard it. He heard about life. He heard about bread. He heard about all these metaphors, and he gets it. And he says, where else will we go? You have the words of life. He's not interested in maintaining his influence. He's interested in telling you what you need to hear. You see, the world is careening into either apathy, that there's no better, that things are not going to get better, and so we get angry, or we have these agendas that we're driven, we're all protesting things constantly, and we're upset about stuff, and there's some stuff we should be upset about. There really is. But our concern as believers who are trying to give the world a message that's worth actually hearing It's not that the church's political or even social influence is somehow gone in the first world. It's that the gospel message's needfulness is obscured by our desire to be popular or by the culture's desire to have their agenda sort of coddled.